Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Thursday. It's the 27th of July 2023. Gonna look at all the races here on this Thursday program from the spa, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Get 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Let's look at the action here from the spa. The first race, it's a main special weight purse, $88,000, race for Maine's 2-year-old State Breds. We have a field of 12 horses entered, 11's an AE, 12's an MTO, so 10 will head to the Mellon, distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Mellon turf course. Portable rails are up at 18 feet. I'm going to take the 6-horse Price is Truth as a top selection. 6, 4, 7, 10 for me in the superfecta. 6, 4, 7, 10 super, top selection 6-horse, Price is Truth, 2-year colt by Union Rags here. Christophe Clement trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. A first-time starter here, which Christophe doesn't have such bad numbers with first-time outing. His numbers with sprinters are actually not bad at all. I always think of Christophe Clement as being, a turf miler to a mile and a quarter trainer, but his sprinters run very well. But this is a first-time starter by Union Ragsire and Tappet Dam. But most recent workout came last week on the Oklahoma. 4 furlongs, 48 and 3. The 8th best workout, 34, and a 4-furlong workout, 49 and 4. The third second best workout, 54. They tried him on turf prior to that. 4 furlongs in the Oklahoma turf course in 50 and 3. The 7th best workout, 38. I think he's ready to go. Christophe has very good numbers with this kind of horse. I'm going to use him here on the ticket. Instamatic, the 4-horse, I'm going to use also for Danny Gargan and Joel Rosario. The Gardner horses haven't been running half bad this spring so far. Again, most recent workout for this first time starter, half mile, 50 and 3 on the Oklahoma, 12th best workout, 16, and then a very, very fast half-mile workout at Saratoga and 48 and 4 on the Oklahoma. The 17th best workout at 56. Hasn't seen the gate in a little bit, but this horse has been getting better and better. It looks like she could have some speed. I think it's a 2-horse race between these two on the ticket. I'm going to use them both to start off the pick 5. But to recount my selections for the opener from Saratoga, going to take the 6-horse Price is Truth. Give kudos to the 4-horse Instamatic. 6, 4, 7, 10 super. 6, 4 in your pick 5. The second event from Saratoga, it's a claiming event going for a $55,000 purse race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won 2 races here. Claim price $50,000. We have a field of 11 horses entered. 10 and 11 are MTOs, so 9 will head to the inner turf course, 1,600 meters to trip, or a mile on the inner turf course, 18 feet. The rails are out. I'm going to take this 2-horse Miss San Gabriel as top selection. 2786 for me in the superfecta. 2786 super, top selection 2-horse Miss San Gabriel. This 3-year-old filly by Temple City. Grand Motion trains. Manny Franco gets some outs. Horse's most recent outing came down at Baltimore on the 3rd of June at Pimlico. A mile and a main special weight, and the horse won by 4 3/4 lengths. He's been at the mercy of post draws in all of his races. He was drawn 8 of 8 that day. He got a good position out of the gate, but was still wide. But when he quickened up nicely after basically walking the dog, he kept going. A very good race. Inner turf course early showing here at Saratoga is playing a lot towards speed, and I think he has the speed to win and take it all the way here today. 2 back in the main special at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs out of turf, of course, 15th of April. He finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths. Again, a very wide trip. He didn't show a lot early on that day until the top lane where he had the lead, and then just kind of got overtaken. I think first off the bench, he probably needed the race there. And then prior to that at Colonial, 13th of July in his debut, 5.5 on the outer turf course in the main special weight. He finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked. Again, he needs something more, but I didn't think he ran half bad. He's training well at Fair Hills. He's stepping down to a main 50. I think he could win here today. I think the 7-horse Annalie for James Farrow and Jose Oscano could win. Most recent a start allowance race at Belmont over the mile in the 8th on the 11th of June. The horse finished second by a length behind Peg's AK Girl. Made a lot of money with Peg's AK Girl that weekend. That was day after Belmont Stakes weekend, and lost my shirt Belmont Stakes day with all those favorites coming in. But my biggest bet that Sunday was Peg's AK Girl, who walked on the front end. This horse had a wide post draw, and also they had to change the shoe before the race. Just behind the A-ball, she ran her hard out of 38-1, but she still needed something more. But not a bad race for this horse. Again, coming here today, if this horse sees a stronger pace, she could really close up into it. Prior to that, claiming 30 at Belmont over the mile, 16th on the inner. Finished 3rd by 2.5 lengths. Again, she stalked. She had the lead. She got overtaken, but she ran her heart out that day. And then before that, I'm claiming 30 at Aqueduct on the inner turf course, finished 2nd by 3/4 length. Again, she gets to the front end, but then she just kind of yields a little bit like she did that day. She hasn't been to Saratoga since her 2-year-old debut a few years ago, where she actually lost to McCulloch and Sumer Spending, so some decent horses there. And after that, she ran third behind Nest in her maiden victory at Belmont. So, if you look at her two-year form, those are very good horses she faced. Group 1, Grade 1 winners there. But coming here way down the class ladder, I think she could win. I'll use her on the pick 4 ticket. But to recount my selection for the second from Saratoga, going to take the 2 horse Miss San Gabriel. Give kudos to the 7 horse Analiate. 2786 Super, 27 in your multi-race. The third event, first dirt race of the afternoon. It is a claiming event going for a $50,000 purse. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won 3 races here. Claim price $35,000. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to take as a top selection here the number 7 horse Candy Caramel. I'm going to go 7354 in the superfecta. 7354 super. Top selection 7 horse Candy Caramel. 3-0 filly here by Candy Ride. Chris Engelhart trains. Javier Castellano gets to mount. He's stepping down from a claiming 40 most recently at Belmont. 6 furlongs on the 2nd of July, and he finished second by 5 lengths that day. He stalked that day. He was a little bit wide. He couldn't catch the winner. Just had to jump on him, but he ran his heart out back in New York, or come to New York for the first time. Second start, back down in class. He'll see a strong pace to close up with. I think he'd get a good trip and win. 2 back at a start allowance race at Churchill, 6 furlongs, 3rd of June. He finished third by 4 lengths that day, and again, he was just wide. He got bumped at the beginning. He got floated out wide late. He just couldn't, keep up from that wide posture. But he didn't run half bad. Keep in mind, the winner was the next start winner. And then his most recent victory on the 21st of April at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs and claiming 30. Winning by 2 1/4 lengths. He didn't break so well, but he saw a strong pace to close up into, and he did just that. 71 buyer. That was a very good career best buyer for him that day. And then at Oaklawn, claiming 30. He finished third by 7.5 lengths that day, and he just, couldn't really get the good turn of foot that day. But training well, I'll give him a shot here on the ticket to run a good race. I think his second likeliest winner here is the 3 horse, who is, if I could get my pages together, 3 years Brisky Frolic for Linda Rice and Jose Ortiz. Most recently, the Widener at Belmont, a mile 16th, 9th of June, in a start allowance race. The horse finished 5th by 14 lengths, and they quarter horse his horse to get to a good position, and then he just completely hit the wall. It wasn't his day to win that day. Back to dirt, back sprinting, back down class. He's in a better spot to win. Start prior to that. There we go. Proper Englishes. At Belmont, 6 furlongs in her turf course, and a start allowance race. Finished 4th by a length that day, and he just needed something more. He nearly won claiming 35 on the turf at Belmont. His most recent dirt race in the mud at Belmont in early May, in a 6 furlongs claim 35,000. He finished second by 1 1/4 lengths, and he just missed late, but he ran his heart out. Most recent victory came in mid-February at Aqueduct in a claiming 16, where he won by 5 on the front and all throughout. A very, very nice victory. Coming here today, he could definitely win. He has some speed under him. A horse that early on in his career was under the care of Todd Pletcher, wasn't running half bad. Then when they took him down to the claim, and then when Dave Jacobson brought the horse last fall, he got good, but then he lost some form. But he hasn't been complete crap. He could definitely win here at 3-1. But to recap my selection for the third from Saratoga, going to take the 7 horse Candy Caramel. Give kudos to the 3 horse Brisky Frolic. 7354 super. 7-3 in your multi-race. The fourth event now from Saratoga. It is a claiming event going for a $42,000 purse race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, going for a $16,000 claiming price. We have a field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters or 6.5 furlongs on the Saratoga main track. By the way, Aqueduct opens up in 6 weeks. Can't wait for that. It's been a long time since I've been at the racetrack. It seems this winter, this winter also. Usually, I don't go to Aqueduct. I go to Aqueduct a lot, but when we get to February and early March, it gets a little bit too cold to sit outside at Aqueduct. So I stay home and watch the races. But this winter is very warm, so I was at Aqueduct quite a bit than I normally am, and I was at Belmont every single weekend this year also with the train service now from Penn Station every day, so I like that a lot. But it's been about 3 weeks since I saw live racing, so it's going to be fun seeing Aqueduct heat up again in a few weeks. But that's still a few weeks away, and we still have some good racing here from Saratoga with the Whitney next weekend, the Travers, and the 4-star Dave. I always like that race. But and of course Jim Dandy, we have to remember that first. But I'm going off subject. Let's get to this fourth race. My top selection, I'm going to go take the number 4 horse Mon Petit Choy. I'm going to go 4612 in the superfecta. 4612 super. Top selection, the 4 horse Mon Petit Choux. This 5-year-old mare by Big the big beast here. Carlton Baker trains. Joel Rosario gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 4th of July at Belmont, 6 furlongs on the slop and claimed 32, and he finished 7th by 10 lengths that day. He didn't break, which cost him. He never, was in good rhythm. And he just never was comfortable. He was way down the class ladder to a claiming 16 here at Saratoga. He's going to be in a better spot to win. Two back on the 2nd of June at Belmont, 7 furlongs and claiming 40. He finished 5th by 10 quarter lengths that day, and he was with them on the front end all through early on. He kind of hit the wall late. It just wasn't his day to win there. And then 6 furlongs at Belmont claiming 32. He finished 3rd by 2 lengths that day. Again, when wide trip. He left out of the gate to good position, but then he just kind of got overtaken. He hasn't won in quite a few seasons since 2021, but he's been facing some tough horses in Southern Florida last year, and then over the winter he faced the toughest of the tough, I thought, in those allowance conditions at Aqueduct over the winter, way down to a claiming 16. It's not the world's deepest race. He could be forwardly paced. He's training well, getting Rosario up. I'm gonna give him a shot here on the ticket. I think your second likeliest winner is a 6-horse Maravaggio. Or Marvillagios for Torres and Rick Dutcher Jr. Most recently, in a Star Allowance race at Belmont on the mud, going 6th on the 16th of June, he finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths that day. A little bit wide, and he just couldn't, get a run that day. Prior to that, on the slop, going 6.5 in the Star Allowance race, finished 3rd by a head, and again, he was all out finished. Carbon, the decent horse, finished 2nd. Actually, enters and also eligible in the 2nd race, I believe, or MTO. Bustin' Lulu is the decent horse in that starter claiming event division. Just took off clear. This horse was just a little bit wide, but he ran his heart out that day. And then the slop at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, 6.5 in a state bred allowance race. The horse finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths that day, and again needed something more. Another horse that hasn't won since last winter at Laurel, where the horse was running in decent races and had showed some speed. If this horse could show some speed here today, he could definitely win. At 3-1, I would give this horse a shot on the ticket. And also the 1 horse, Vitemi, for Dave Jacobson and Ira Ortiz Jr., first time in the Jacobson barn. A park shipper, and hasn't been running half bad there. Has run Buyer strong enough to win. I would use this horse on the multi-race ticket. But to recount my selections for the 4th from Saratoga, going to take the 4 horse here, Mon Petit Shui. Give kudos to the 6 horse and the 1 horse, 4-6-1-2 Super, 4-6-1 in your multi-race. The 5th event from Saratoga, very good race here. This could be a stakes race. The 5th event, it's an allowance optional claimer purse, $156,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won $18,000 twice in the main claim starter or state bred allowance race, which never won 3 races. Optional claim price, $62,500. Field 9 horses entered. 9 is an MTO. 8 will head to the inner turf course, 1,700 meters or mile 16th on that inner turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go take the number 4 horse here, Pleasant Passage. I'm going to go 4-8-1-7 in the superfecta. 4-8-1-7 super. Top selection of 4 horse, Pleasant Passage. 3-year-old filly by More Than Ready. Shug McGahee trains. John Velazquez gets to mount. Blinkers on. Most recently, on the 18th of June at Belmont, 1 mile and off 6-2 claimer. And the horse finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths that day. He didn't get out of the gate so clearly. Just kind of stalked and just couldn't quit kicking up late. Refreshing here with blinkers on. Again, Lasix could be forwardly paced and concentrate. I think this horse get a good trip and win. 2 back in the Appalachian at Keeneland, 1 mile 8th of April. The horse finished 5th by 4.5 lengths that day. A little bit wide, a little bit of a tough trip in a lane where he couldn't get through. I'm going to give this horse a break for that race because first off the bench it had a very troubled trip, but terrifically ran in the Brews Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf at Keeneland, 1 mile 4th in November. She finished 2nd by 2 1/4 lengths. She might meditate that day. Again, she sat back early. She had a great turn of foot. She just missed, but again, ran her heart out that day. And then at Aqueduct on the 1st of October, mile 16th in the Miss Grillo. She won by 3/4 length. The turf course was a bog that day, but she walked on it and she kept going. A very good run there. And then Saratoga last August, mile 16th in main special weight, winning by a neck, closing it from nowhere. I thought it was a very good effort. She's training well at Belmont and here on Saratoga on the Oklahoma training turf at 7-2 with blinkers on. I think it's a good shot. Let's use her here. Keep in mind, John Velazquez was part of a spill. There was a spill on one of the races, the 2nd or 3rd race, where he crashed through the rails. So he took off all his mounts on after that on Wednesday. So hopefully it'll be better to ride this one today. So just keep that in mind. I also think the 8 horse here, Veronica Green, Rose Ortiz, and Chad Brown could get a piece of it. Most recently, they ran the horse on the 18th of June at Belmont, that 1 mile up 6-2, and she finished 2nd by 1 1/4 lengths, and she's at last most of the race, but was gaining late. If the race was mile 16, she probably would have won, but she ran her heart out that day. Prior to that, the Bugay against Tough Horse, she finished 4th by 4 lengths that day. and she was just flat. She wasn't getting a good trip that day. And then allowance race at Aqueduct, 1 mile on the 8th of April. She won by 1 1/4 lengths and beat a good group of horses home. She didn't break so well, but she settled well after that, and she flew home late. That was a very, very good run for a quick pace for New York races on turf. But her races here at Saratoga weren't half bad last season. She's training well. Let's give her a shot and to end off this pick 4 or pick 5, whatever we decide to play. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Saratoga, going to take the 4-horse Pleasant Passage. Give kudos to the 8-horse Veronica Green. 4817 Super, 48 in your multi-race. Let's get to the late pick 5, the 6th race from the Spa. The 6th event from Saratoga, it's a maiden special weight purse, $88,000, race for maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds here, state-breds. We have a field of 9 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to take the 1-horse Poseidon's Mist as a top selection, 1673 for me in the superfecta. 1673 super, top selection, 1-horse Poseidon's Mist, 2-year filly by Poseidon's Warrior. Carlos David trains one. Javier Castellano gets the mount. Horse is a first-time starter here, but most recently had a workout on the 20th of July at the Spa. Main track, 4 furlongs and 47 and 4. From the gate, the third best workout of 89 and a half-mile drill on the main track and 48 and 3. The sixth best workout, 15. Carlos David has great numbers with first-time starters striking at 28%. His 2-year-olds are striking at 24% here, and main specialist striking at 24% also. So I think this horse also training well, getting quite a few gate workouts here, could show some pace probably. I think this horse could go a long way in this race, run a good run. I'm going to use it and start off this late pick 5. The 6 horse Can't Call It for Joel Rosario and Christophe Coman. Also wouldn't surprise me if the horse gets the job done. Another trainer has decent numbers, but not as good as Carlos David. Most recent workout, 4 furlongs, 48 and 2. 6th best workout, 34 earlier this week, and a 5/8 mile drill, 102 and 4. The 4th best workout, 5 for this one. Coming here today, another horse I think could show some speed. I'll use both these horses in this pick 5 to begin it off. But to recap my selection for the 6 from Saratoga, I'm going to take the 1-horse Poseidon's Mist. Give kudos to the 6-horse Can't Call It. 1673 Super. 1/6 in your multi-race. The 7th event from Saratoga, it's a claiming event going for a $60,000 purse. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards here, going for a $25,000 claiming price. We have a field here of, a field of 15 horses entered. Keep in mind, 114 and 1A are MTOs. So we'll have a field here of 12 going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or mile 16th on the Mellon Turf course. Going to take the 12-horse Land Biscuit as a top selection. 12-5-8-11 for me in the superfecta. 12-5-8-11 super. Top selection, 12-horse Land Biscuit. 5-year-old Geln by Orb. David Donk trains. John Velazquez gets the mount. 17th of June was the horse's previous race at Belmont. A mile in the 8th and claiming 25,000. And the horse finished second by a half a length that day. And he stalked. He had the lead. Front men caught him that day, but he didn't go down without a fight. I thought he showed potential gaming it out to the wire. Refreshing here to Saratoga with his horse. His run once in the past, not half bad. He had a little bit of a wide trip, but I think getting forwardly into the race today, also way down the class ladder, I think you get a good trip and win. 2 back on the 20th of May at Belmont on the slop, mile 16th and claiming 32. He finished second by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He's not a dirt horse, but he didn't run bad. He stalked. He had the lead. He just couldn't keep up late, but he ran. It wasn't the world's worst race for him for dirt. For a turf to dirt kind of race. And then 14th of May at Belmont, 6 furlongs and wider, claiming 25. He finished third by 2 1/4 lengths. He had a horrible beginning. He was flying late, but just a little bit too late for that for him. It was also his first start in 11 months. 23rd of June was his previous race at Belmont on the wider, 1 mile claiming 35. He won by 2. He stalked. He kept going. A very, very good, clear victory for him there. And then claiming 35 last May at Belmont over the mile 16th. He finished second by 8 lengths that day. Be Here took off clear. This horse, Be Here was the next star winner along with this one, but this horse was just wide, just not keeping up. He showed potential in his early season in 2021 and into 2022, but then he kind of fell off the ladder at Keeneland, and then they took him to the claiming ranks. Coming here back to claiming ranks again, I think this horse get a good trip to win this race. He's in a good spot. Only shitty part is he has a bad post draw. I think your second likeliest winner here is the number 5 horse, Eyes on Target for Ira Ortiz and Mike Maker. Most recently, claiming an option 40 at Laurel over the mile and 8th on the 18th of June. He finished 4th by 6.5 lengths that day, and he just kept coming that day, but just a little bit too late. You know, he needed something more. Prior to that, Keeneland mile 16th in the Lounge race, finished 6 by 5.75 lengths that day, and again, he was just flat from the wide post drop. And then at Gulfstream, he was very wide. He never was comfortable that day. Also, the beginning cost him. But coming here to Saratoga, where he ran 2 good races last summer, I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. He's also training well to the spine. Also getting IRAD shouldn't be a half bad thing for this one. And also keep an eye out for the 8 horse here, who is Tommy B, way down the class ladder. He hasn't started since May, where he just ran a very disappointing race at Churchill, but I'll give him a break on that weird turf course. But if he could run a race like the Caesars or the Kent like he ran as a 3-year-old, he could definitely win. He showed potential as a 2-year-old, but then he just kind of, lost it. He's training well also. I'll give him a shot in the slate pick 4 that looks very nice. Like if you hit, it's going to pay very nice. But to recap my selection for the 7 from the spot, I'm going to take the 12 horse Land Biscuit, give kudos to the 5 horse Eyes on Target, and the 8 horse Tommy B. 12-5-8-11 Super, 12-5-8 in your multi-race. Let's get to the featured 8th race now from Saratoga, which is the Birdstone Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse, race 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 7 horses staying the trip of ground of 2,800 meters, or a mile 3/4 on the Saratoga main track. I believe this is the longest dirt race of the year here in New York. Occasionally, very, very occasionally, they'll run the 2-mile race on the dirt here at Saratoga, but that hasn't happened in about 8 or so years, if not 10 years already. And occasionally Aqueduct used to do it also, but maybe they could do it this spring or this fall. But named after Birdstone, who was very an under radar horse going into that Belmont in 2004. He ran terrifically, being Smarty Jones. But when I think of Birdstone, I think of him winning the Travers in the dark. I was here and I was living not in this house actually at the time. I was living in Brooklyn, and watching that race in the dark, it was very, very exciting. I loved Lionheart from that division in 2004, but Birdstone, he just kept going, and he was a very game horse. Disappointing running the Breeders' Cup Classic after that, but I think he was the kind of horse he might need a little bit. He might need to start in that Jockey Club in the fall of that year. If I'm not mistaken, in the Jockey Club right after that, in 2004, Funnyside might have won, beating Cliff's Edge, who was the Derby favorite, if I'm not mistaken, in 2004 also, which was the crazy part. If I'm not mistaken, he was a favorite, and Smarty Jones took over by Marty Jones, is one of the best horses in the 2004 things. But we're gonna get to the 8th race now from Saratoga before I go off on tangents. But what do you call? Let's get to this 8th race, which is the Birdstone. My top selection, I'm going to take the 2 horse, the Skipper 2. I'm going to go 2-5-7-3 in the superfecta. 2-5-7-3 super. Top selection 2 horse, the Skipper 2. This 4-year-old colt by Brethren here. Juan Alvarado trains. Esmail Jaramillo gets the mount. First time going to a longer trip, but most recently the horse ran the 2nd of July at Gulfstream, mile 16th in a handicap, and the horse went by 3/4 length that day, and he just sat back early from wide posture. He slowly moved his way up, and then he just kept going. A very good run. He was the best on paper. The horses on dirt in the summer at Gulfstream going the routing trip, you usually see horses win quite easily, and this horse did just that. I think coming to a longer trip where he could slow it down, I think he could stay. I think he could run a good race and win today. I think 10-1's a good price on him. 2 back in option 25 at Gulfstream, 1 mile 27th of May. He won by 4.5 lengths that day, and he just kind of stuck that day. When he got to the front end, he kept coming. A very good race from there. And then at Oklahoma Lounge race, 100,000 on the 8th of April. He finished 4th by 5.25 lengths that day. And again, he was just a little bit flat. He never quickened up and never weakened out of either. Showed potential that day for a longer trip. And then at Oklahoma, a mile and 8th in the Lounge race, finished 5th by 3.25 lengths. Again, he just needed something more. I think the more ground he's been looking for is coming here today. Hopefully seeing a little closer. I'll give him a shot here on the ticket. I think the 5 horse Time for Trouble for Ricardo Santana Jr. and Jeff Hills could get a good trip to win. Most recently, they ran the horse at Churchill, mile and a half in the Louisville Stakes. She finished 7 by 6 lengths that day, and he was with him early on, but then just kind of crumbled. Take out the turf race, and if you take out the most recent turf races and look at the dirt races, there are few and far between, but the buyers could definitely win against these horses. Prior to an optional 80 at Keelan over the mile and eighth on the dirt, the horse went by ahead, and from a tracking trip, he kept coming. Upside 17.5 to 1, not a bad race. To go back to his previous dirt race, you have to go back to the Claiming Crown Iron Horse at Churchill, mile 16th on the slop. He won by 3.5 lengths, and again, from a tracking trip, he took off clear with an 89 buyer, and then won on the dirt last July at Belterra. Not the strongest buyer, but it was still a very good run. Could be forwardly praised, has proven he could stay on turf. I'll give this horse a shot at 10 to 1 in the pick 4, and you can't throw out the 7 horse next, who's become when I think of former Wesley Ward horses, I think of sprinters, not a horse that's going to go a marathon trip, but this horse has proven that he likes marathon trips. Now with a new trainer here, won the Kate Hamilton at Delaware over the mile and a half last September nicely, came back to win in Thoroughbred Aftercare Marathon, Bruce Cup Marathon race at Keelan over the mile 5 furlongs. He needed the race at Churchill last time, 2 back, but then put on a show in the Brooklyn where he walked on the front end with a 101 buyer. He's another horse he could stay forever. He's training well at Turfway. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets a good trip. I'll use him at 4 to 5 in this late pick 4. Like I said, it's going to pay very nicely if somebody hits it. Hopefully we do. With recount my selection for the 8th now from Saratoga, it is the Birdstone. Gonna take the 2 horse to Skipper 2. Give kudos to the 5 horse Time for Trouble and the 8 and the 7 horse Next. Where are we? 2573 Super, 257 in your multi race. The 9th event's now from Saratoga. It's Lounge Optional Claimer purse $156,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Number 1 18,000 of the main claiming starter or lounge race. Which number 1 blah 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 blah. Optional claim price $62,000 here. We have a field of 15 horses entered. 1 12, 13 are AEs, 14 1A are what do you call those? Are MTOs. So we'll have a field here of 9 or 10 horses. I can't remember. Field of 10 horses or 9 going the distance of ground at 2,200 meters or mile 3/8 on the inner turf course. So we're following up a mile 3/4 race with the mile 3/8 race. So if you like marathon races, this card's for you. They've been carding a lot of these mile 3/8 races the last week at Saratoga, and keep them coming because I like handicapping them. I'm going to take the 3 horse One Night Standards as top selection. 3274 for me in the superfecta. 3274 super top selection. 3 horse One Night Standards is 5 Gelin by Arch, Mark Cassie trains, John Velasquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 9th of June at Gulfstream, mile 16th and op 6-2 claimer, and the horse finished 3rd by 5.5 lengths that day, and he sat back early. They went a little bit quick for the trip that day, but he was getting late. He needs something more, but he ran his heart out. Back to a marathon trip, first start gelding. He got gelded after last race. I think that could concentrate him and really run a good race here today. 2 back at mile 16th on Tapete in a lounge race at Gulfstream. He won by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and again from a tracking trip, he slowly moved his way up, and when he got to the front end, another clear victory for him there, and then a mile and a half off turf on Tapete on an optional 35 at Gulfstream in late March. He won by 4.5 lengths. He was a little bit wide that day, but he had the turn of foot to win. So, not a bad race. If he runs that race, he could definitely win against these horses here today with that career best 91 buyer. He could sit close. He has a good post drop. First time gelding. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 2 horse Space Launch for Christoph Kamat could get the job done. He's the kind of horse, he doesn't like mile and a quarter marathon or long distance races at Belmont. They're just not to his running style. You need to be forwardly paced. This horse, he sat back early. He moved a little bit late, but he wants a mile 3/8 run a 3 turn like you'd see at Aqueduct, like you would see here at Saratoga. Prior to that, going a mile and 8th and op 6-2, he finished 4th by 3/4 length. Again, another inner turf course race at Belmont that plays towards speed. He just didn't have a lot of early speed, and it cost him the victory. Most recent mile 3/8 race where he ran a 3-turn mile 3/8 came last September at Aqueduct, and op 6-2, finishing 2nd by 1 1/4 lengths. He really just missed late, but he ran his heart out. Back to Saratoga where he hasn't run in 2 seasons. I'll give this horse a shot on the ticket. And also the 7 horse Dripping Gold. He nearly won going a mile and a quarter at Belmont a few weeks ago, but his races last fall at Kentucky Downs and even here at Aqueduct could win against these horses. 7-2, let's use him in this very nice pick 4. That's going to be our main wager today. But to recount my selection for the 9th from the spot, I'm going to take the 3 horse and White Knight Standards. Give kudos to the 2 horse Space Launch and the 7 horse Dripping Gold. 3274 Super, 327 in your multi-race. The nightcap on this Thursday program from Saratoga, it's an allowance race, purse $149,500, races for 3-year-olds and upwards, number 1, 18,000, the main claiming starter, blah, 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 blah. We have a field of 12 horses entered, 11 and 12 are MTOs, so 10 will go 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Mellon Turf course. I'm going to take the 5-horse McGallop as a top selection. I'm going to go 5-9-3-7 in the superfecta. 5-9-3-7 super, top selection to 5-horse McGallop. As 4-year-old Gelbane to the mischief, Ian Wilkes trains, Julien Leperoux gets the mount. Horse hasn't been seen since mid-September at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs and allowance race, 105,000. He finished 6 by 10 quarter lengths that day, and he was just wide and just not really excelling. It was his first start in dirt. Throw it out. You know, he might get dirt on pedigree, but he's just not a dirt horse. He's done his better running style on turf. Coming here to 5.5, where he can get a good tracking trip from where he's posted out of the gate. I think he could, fly home late to get the job done. Prior to that optional 80 at Saratoga, 1 mile 17th of August, he finished second by 3 lengths that day. And again, he had a wide poster. He was wide throughout, but he was gaining late. Not the world's worst race for him that day. And then the 5th of May at Belmont, 1 mile 16th in the Widener, an optional 80. He finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths, stupidly wide, but again, he ran his heart out behind Napoleonic War, and then debut in March of 2022 at Tampa, 1 mile main special weight, winning by 1 3/4 lengths from a tracking trip. He took off clear. Coming here back to a sprinting trip, or coming to a sprinting trip for the first time, he could definitely win. I think the 7-horse Charging, first time facing older horses, or second time facing older horses, could win. Most recently ran a very soft turf course at Belmont, 7 furlongs in the Paradise Creek. I was on Preakness Day, the last time we really got significant rain here in New York City. He finished 7 by 20 1/4 lengths that day, and he just, he set the pace, but then he just wasn't handling the turf. Prior to that, Keelan going 5.5 in the main special weight, he won by 8, and he was drawing off on the front end. A very good, strong performance there. And at the Fairgrounds, 1 mile in the main special weight, he finished second by 1 1/4 lengths that day, and he just couldn't keep up. But he's training well. He has some pace here. From the outside poster, it wouldn't surprise me if he leaves, and it wouldn't surprise me if he steals it here. At 4-1, let's use him to end off this very nice late pick 4. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Saratoga, going to take the 5-horse McAuliffe, give kudos to the 9-horse Charging, 5-9-3-7 Super, 5-9 your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.